Now, we all took refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Now, there is a fundamental difference in taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and in many other religions. Well, technically, the Buddha, Dharma is not a religion. But there's a very fundamental difference. In many other theistic religions, when you take refuge, when you become a member of that congregation or that secret society or that sect or whatever, you take refuge literally in power. You take refuge in power. The power of a being, real or imagined, to protect you, angels to protect you from the coronavirus, a being to forgive all that you had done wrong, whatever. But you take refuge in power. That means you believe this being to whom I take refuge has that power to protect me, has that power to forgive me, has that power to transplant me to wherever. But in the Buddha Dharma, when you take refuge, you do not take refuge in power. You take refuge in wisdom. And that's a very fundamental difference. So when we take refuge in the Buddha, you're taking refuge in the Buddha, the teacher. You're taking refuge in the Buddha whose teachings is the Dhamma. And that Dhamma gives you the ability to cope with the ups and downs of life, with the anicca, dukkha, anatta of life. And you teach refuge in the fourfold Sangha. The Buddha said he will not pass away until the fourfold Sangha is well established. And of course, when we take refuge, we are talking about the Arya Sangha, not the Pasamalam Sangha, but the Arya Sangha. And the fourfold Sangha is the community of monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen who are continuing the Buddha Sasana. So we take refuge in wisdom, using the wealth of this wisdom to deal with the ups and downs of life, so that we can be less stressful, so then we can be happier. When you and I prostrate just now to the Buddha image, you are not prostrating to a piece of metal, or in our home, maybe porcelain or plaster or whatever you have on your altar. You're actually not prostrating to that. You're actually prostrating to the values that this image represents. You're prostrating to the values of compassion, love, wisdom, etc., that you want to emulate. You are prostrating to the future you. So I hope you realize all this. And of course, we can only slowly share, such as people come along, as people progress in this path. So life is a very complicated situation, as all of us realize. Life is never as straightforward as we hope. And this is basically how life is like. So this is all the common denominators of life. We're all going to get old. We're all going to fall ill. Some marriages will break up. Some of us will die and be recycled, etc., etc. But we can still be very happy despite this. Yesterday at the youth group, and I was so happy to see so many youths turn up despite the present crisis, I asked a very simple question. I asked them a question that I've asked this same group before. I said, this is a digital question, yes or no answer. And I said, in the First Noble Truth, the Buddha taught, life is suffering. How many of you say yes? How many of you say no? It's an MCQ, but only 2 answers. In the First Noble Truth, the Buddha taught, life is suffering, full stop. Your answer is either yes or no. And I was actually very happy that among about the 50 over youth, only 3 of them raised their hand and said yes. The others said no. That means they learned from me in a previous class. Now, it's a very common misconception that people go around and share and say, oh, the First Noble Truth, the Buddha said life is suffering. The Buddha did not say in the First Noble Truth that life is suffering. The Buddha said there is suffering in life. And there is a big difference between there is suffering in life and life is suffering. And the Buddha even went on to define what is dukkha. He said, birth, aging, sickness, and death is dukkha. These 4 is fundamental. Birth, aging, sickness, and death. And it is so much in our culture that in Chinese we say, oh, 生老病死. We don't even realize that we're actually quoting the First Noble Truth. We just say, oh, 生老病死. But this is the 4 fundamental things. Birth, aging, sickness, death. Associating with those that you don't like. Dissociating with those that you like. Not getting what you want. And the 5 grasping khandhas. You grasp, you're going to suffer. So the Buddha said it is these 8 things which are dukkha. Not everything is dukkha. There is lots of sukha. All right? And in fact, when the Buddha was asked to teach after his enlightenment, when he looked around and he said, this is a generation with so much sensual gratification, not many people will be interested in the Dhamma. Okay? And that's 2,600 years ago. Now we have even more sensual gratification. For example, we've got nice, lovely aircon. We're all very comfortable right now. I think most of us are reasonably happy right now. So if you go around telling everybody life is suffering, it doesn't relate to what is experienced in daily life. And then people will be put off the Buddha Dharma. No, life is not suffering. Life has suffering. There's also a lot of happiness in life. So like I showed you in the first clip, all those events is dukkha. They're very stressful. Cinderella is divorced. That's very stressful. It's only when you meet Ajahn Brahm that he says, congratulations, you are free at last. But most people, it's very stressful. And you see Wonder Woman is menopausal, and the list goes on. But despite all that, if you understand the realities of life, you can actually be still happy. And do not forget, the whole purpose of the Buddha's path is to lead us to progressively less dukkha. And progressively less dukkha means you are more happy. And of course, ultimate happiness, Nibbana Paramang Sukham, the highest happiness. Sukham is happiness. Sukha, Malay word sukha, you like. So despite what we see, what we deal with in our daily lives, if we understand the Buddha Dharma and you apply the Buddha Dharma in your daily life, you can be quite happy in spite of all that happens. Okay? Remember, if you are really walking the Buddha's path, if you really have the wealth of the Dhamma, you should be a very happy person. Okay? If you go around more and more saukya, every day you are more saukya than the previous day, I think something is quite seriously wrong, you know? So let's see another clip. How do you define your happiness? And this is a wonderful one. I like this very much.
Celebration of your blessings is happiness. The more and more I celebrate what I have in life, the manifestation of that is happiness. Man had called for a party and everybody had come and everybody were dancing and there was absolute excitement in the air and nobody knew for what this party was called. He called, so they all came and he looks the happiest person there. And he is enjoying, he is freaking out. So one person took a lot of hesitation and finally went on, is there any purpose behind this party? Yeah, you didn't know that? Morning, my Mercedes-Benz met with a very bad accident. And it's completely damaged. Everybody stopped dancing. What? Mercedes-Benz met with an accident, you called for a party? He said, nothing happened to the driver. I was driving. And the man paused for a moment. I said, the Mercedes-Benz is gone and with money I will buy 10 more Mercedes-Benz in my lifetime. But if my little finger is gone, nothing happened to the driver. And he told, friends, let's understand, whether it is a 60 rupee toy car or a 60 lakh Mercedes-Benz, what money can buy is called a toy. It's only a toy. And you should understand this. Rolls-Royce is a 4 crore toy. Give it rightful place. Then you will enjoy it. Otherwise you will not enjoy it. Some of these buggers, have you seen? They will not remove the plastic cover from the seat at all. But seat will get dirty. I'm saying I'll give you a better suggestion. You make a plastic cover, cover yourself. Go everywhere inside the plastic cover. It's a toy. The more and more you learn to celebrate what you have in life, it's called happiness. Happiness is celebration of blessings in life.
Okay, isn't that wonderful? That's wonderful. Because when you see it in the correct perspective, we are only alive in the present moment. We all know that. We all learned that in Dharma class. All we have is the present moment. The past is in our brain. The future we haven't created with our hands, but we are here in the present moment. And that's impermanence. That's our nature. And we should celebrate the present moment, because at this present moment, there is nothing wrong. I mean, who knows? One of us might get COVID-19 next week or week after next, but that's next week and week after next. Now we are all very happy. Now there's nothing wrong. Okay, and if you look at what the Buddha had taught us, it's basically the same message, except here he put it very nicely. It's a toy. Yeah, come to think of it, it's a toy, isn't it? Everything is a toy, but all right, we buy it to enjoy it. Okay. If you lose it, okay, you lose a toy. Never mind if you break up with your boyfriend, get a new toy. You break up with your girlfriend, get a new toy. And once you can learn to accept, you don't hold on, you don't attach, and you learn, and you let go, and you enjoy. Because you must remember, things are always changing. No man steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and you are already not the same man. You jump into the Singapore River now, you jump out. You jump in again, the waters have moved. And the person who jumped in has also changed. It's only that we don't realize it. We think it's a permanent river. We think it's a permanent man. But no, both are equally impermanent. And I think that when we realize that, then we realize a lot of things in life. If you realize that you have to enjoy your children, because they will grow old. And yeah, when they were small, they'll run and say, daddy, daddy, everything. Then daddy, daddy this, daddy, daddy that, mommy, mommy this, mommy, mommy that. And then when they reach their teenage years, it's their friends, no more you. And then when they grow up, have their career, get married, now and then you get a phone call. And I have colleagues who tell me, you know, Wong, they say, whenever I get a phone call from my son, I'm very worried, because it means my pocket is going to be lighter. So we have to learn to let go. We have no choice, because surely you cannot expect your child to be the same all the time. And for a moment, if he's the same all the time, and we don't accept that change, and you go and make a wish that, how I wish my child is like last time, mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, all the time, then you're in serious trouble. Big, big, serious trouble. And I say it because we have direct experience. I have a nephew who is autistic. He's about 30 plus years old now. He's still mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy. I'm sure his parents wish he grew up. So we have to learn to accept, because your wishes can be very dangerous if it ever comes true. Can you imagine a man who is 30 over years old? He looks for oil and other people, one of you sitting in this hall, but it's mommy, mommy, daddy, daddy, everything. Okay, and it's very, very difficult for the parents. So we learn not only to let go of material things when we have the wealth of the Dhamma, we also learn to let go of immaterial things. We also learn to let go of relationships. We have to learn to let go that one day the son is going to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Either way, the relationship, the equation is going to change. So I like one particular video very much, this one, because it shows me how dynamics change and how people adapt.
ただいま。いらっしゃい。
はじめまして。
可愛い子。沙織ってどう書くんですか？
ひらがなです。
へえ。っていうか、なんでお前がいるんだよ。性格も良さそう。さてと。
お手伝いします。
料理はまだまだだけど。
タイマーを終了しました。できたみたいですね。
なんだか母としての役目が終わったみたいで。息子をよろしくお願いします。
こちらこそ。
寂しいけどおめでとう。ピピットコンロがスマート。東京ガス。
Here you see a lot of very interesting dynamic changes. I mean, I've been a doctor 35, 36 years or more. And one of the very common complaints we see of stress is when a mother-in-law comes and complains that, oh, my daughter-in-law, blah, 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 blah. And I always tell them that your daughter-in-law will never be the same as you, because your daughter-in-law is not you. Your daughter-in-law grew up in a different era. So just like just now you saw, she couldn't cut the onion properly. The onion was, not perfect, hemispherical. But the reality is, does it matter? Who cares whether that onion is perfectly hemispherical or not? Right? You have to accept that. The fact that she can cut the onion and is willing to cut the onion, I think, is cause for celebration. But the major turning point here was the mother thanking the future daughter-in-law. Please take care of my son. Most of us wouldn't do that. Most of us wouldn't. So it's a big turning point. The mother has accepted that the son will leave. The son will probably find the daughter closer than the mother after a while, the daughter-in-law, i.e. And that dynamics will change. And if we can accept it, we can go with the flow, we have a happier family. Relationships are better. But if we can't, like some of my Metta Lodge members, cannot. It must be like that. Stir egg must be 39.5 times. Don't do it, cannot. Pound must be 40 times. If not, cannot. Then everybody suffers. Because you're so attached to concepts, so attached to why it must be like that and no one else, no other way. It's a nature. It's going to change. And we have to accept that. If you cannot accept change, you're going to create stress. So one of the wealth of the Dhamma is helping us adapt this into our thinking process, that it's never going to be the same, it's going to change. If you can adapt yourself to the change, you do well. It's Darwinian principle, isn't it? The species that survive is not the strongest species, but the species that could adapt to change. The dinosaurs became extinct because they couldn't adapt to the change. So we have to learn to adapt to the change. And then you have to live happily, causing the minimum stress in an environment which is constantly changing. No doubt, of course, we love our children. No doubt, of course, we want the best for them. And if they are happy, we are happy. If we can be part of that happiness, then that's a bonus. Now, let me show you one terrible old man. Ah, yes, found that terrible old man. Look at this old man. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be here at my daughter's wedding and to welcome my new son-in-law. And of course, that music is a piece that is very familiar to us as we love Star Wars. You know, on this day, as on every day in our lives, my wife and I make noble aspirations for our daughters and for their happiness in our daily devotions to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Today, Ziyan will become my second son-in-law and a part of my family. He must be scared and in awe of this father-in-law, because in our very first dramatic meeting, within a minute of us seeing and meeting each other, I had told him more about himself than he ever knew in his entire life from mere observation. That, of course, is an occupational hazard from being 30 over years as a clinical teacher. Yep, Ziyan, you had joined the family of high achievers with even higher expectations. Do you know how much we love and adore our beautiful daughters, Suyin and Sumei? There's nothing in this world their mother and I wouldn't do to see them walk through each day of their lives with their hearts filled with joy. Some people are willing to sell a kidney for an iPhone. We are willing to lay down our lives for their happiness. This whole night I have heard you all call her Sue. Actually, Sue is not her name. Sue is the middle word for both our daughters, and it means gentle. Her name is Yin, and it means completeness. For when she was born, our family was complete. Her late grandfather, my father, meticulously chose the Chinese characters for her name, counting strokes and ensuring balance between fire, wood, water, you name it. And I welcomed her myself on the day that she was born, and today I gave her to you, tearing out a piece from my heart, a piece of flesh. In telling you this, I hope that you can now appreciate how treasured Suyin is in our family, and the gravity and depth of your responsibility from this day henceforth in caring for another person. Ziyan, you now see how pretty Suyin is on the outside, but she is breathtakingly beautiful on the inside, and that is far more important. She is intelligent, much more intelligent than me, I can tell you. That's why she did not choose to be a doctor. She is diligent, contemplative in thoughts,
and wise with money. From a very young age, she was ready for a life in finance and economics, and it will do you much good to leave such in her capable hands. Her fiery zest for life gave her a junior black belt in Taekwondo, and being selected for the Johor State Training Team while she was still in primary school. Do not say you have not been forewarned. She strives for excellence in everything that she does, sometimes to the point of tears if she doesn't accomplish perfection. There were many a time when her mummy and I had to comfort her because she did not get 100 marks, but 90 plus instead. How many of you here how many of you here know that she was an A-star student in all her subjects? You know, okay. Good genes. I'm unsure whether she expects such a score out of you, but nevertheless, you should be aware of her usual benchmark. Once she has set off to do something, few things will hold her back, as you would have known in your undergraduate days together. I had taught both my daughters, Sumei and Suyin, from young, never to accept anything because someone said it or simply because of beliefs. They were taught to challenge authority and to always come up with answers deep from themselves, from thinking and asking why. Sumei and Suyin were trained never to commit intellectual suicide. So do expect independent, courageous thinking. Do expect righteous rebellion. But I will tell you for sure that when Suyin falls in love with you, she's yours. She'll be a loving, devoted wife and friend. Her marriage is only bound by a piece of fragile paper that the four of us signed on today. How strong can that be? It has to be built on unconditional love, on mutual respect and tolerance. It is frankly hard work once the euphoria settles. Love you have aplenty at this time, but I'm not talking of the physical love of a young couple. Unconditional love, or metta, that the Buddha taught us to develop takes a long time to cultivate. And it requires respect for differences and tolerance for perceived faults and errors. This requires a strong commitment from both of you. My dear son-in-law, lead your family well. Remember all the promises you made to Suyin and to her mother and I. Instead of being just the son-in-law, do your best to be the son-in-love instead. I spoke of high expectations at the beginning, but these are not expectations of wealth or power, but of boundless love, compassion, and wisdom. You know my first son-in-law, Gerald, is sitting there. He's a fine young man. I don't think you would want to be in his bad books.
He's very big.
He has done everything to make an old man here happy. He is up to date the preferred son-in-law. But now he has competition. Do try to unseat him from his pedestal. This morning he spent the whole morning just walking with me in Belmont Forum, making sure I drank coffee, making sure I had my croissant, making sure he paid for every little thing that I bought. But those are just minor examples. But what do I ask of you? What does Mummy and I ask of you? We ask that you love Suyin to the best of your ability. Treat her with respect. Be gentle with her. She knows what a healthy, loving marriage is like. She witnessed it growing up. Don't let her down. Don't let her parents down. Every one of you who are here today is a witness. And witnesses have a legal duty to ensure that what is promised is acted on. There is no free meal. To the groomsmen and the bridesmaid, I appreciate your hard work and for standing in the sun and still looking beautiful. From a medical viewpoint, she's quite sunburned. To the talented friends playing music for the ceremony, please accept my gratitude. I saw how you rehearsed the other day in the hot sun. I am very grateful. As parents, we never stop worrying about our children. Sumei used to tell that mommy never goes for a holiday. When we go for a family holiday, mommy merely takes care of the children in another country. That's all. So do text us, call us, send us pictures, for these gestures assure us that you are well. For Su Ying's mother and I, all that we seek for ourselves is the time that both of you can spend with us. Your gift of time to us is priceless, and time for us is an ever-diminishing quantum. Be assured that you will be well rewarded, for I am rich, but not in money or estate, only rich in experience, a whole library of books, knowledge, philosophy, and hopefully wisdom. When I die, you will inherit all my books. I seek and aspire for both of you to have all the blessings of good health, love, and wisdom. Should you require the counsel of experience acquired from the University of Life, Mommy and I are always here for you. Whatever you do in the future, wherever you may be, the door of our hearts is always open for the two of you. Do remember that constantly. Thank you.
So that's an example of an old man who could not let go. Brother Vincent said that's the most threatening speech he ever heard in a very diplomatic manner. We all love our children. Who does not love our children? Everyone loves their children. But we also must learn to let go. That is one of the things we learn in the Buddha Dharma. Even relationships, we have to let go because they will change. They will grow up, they will lead their own lives. This particular wedding was in Australia. They have both settled in Australia. Son-in-law is a Singaporean, now they are Australian PRs. So they have moved far away. And being very filial parents, we visit them twice a year during university vacation, once in winter and once in summer. When the university goes on a break, I go to visit them. They hardly ever come back otherwise. So we tell them that we are happy because you're happy. If we can be part of that happiness, it's even better. But the most important thing is we are happy because you are happy. And we have to learn to let go. We have to learn to adapt to the change. All right? And so as you said, that the only thing we ask from them is time. We live in a new generation where you do not expect your children to physically take care of you or physically support you anymore. That's historical. Now, if they do not require your financial help, that's already a blessing because life is difficult for them too. So we only wish the best for them. We have to learn to let go. We have to learn to realize that we are old and that these people are young and that they will have a life of their own. The days whereby you impose what your will is on how to do this, how to raise a family, I think that would create a lot of stress in the 21st century because they grew up in a different education system. They have a different view of the world. Okay? So we have to apply the Buddha's Dharma, which is timeless. We just chanted it. The Dhamma is timeless. We have to adapt it to our present times and use it well.
We have maturity. We have sense of reasoning in our mind without misusing, abusing, without following anything blindly. Use your common sense, my dear friend. Not necessary to have religious label. Whether we are Buddhists or Christians or Hindus or Muslims, those labels are not important. religion is not in their labels. That is why the whole world today is a battlefield because of religion. Religious label, not religious principles. I want to introduce my religion, egoism. My religion, our religion, but not religion. Two religions introduce the same principles, but one religion tried to convert this into the other religion. But the same principle, two labels. So they are fighting for this label. They bring religion into the battlefield to justify, oh, it is our religion. They have polluted completely purity of religion. They try to show worshipping, praying so many times a day they are religious. But their cruelty, anger, jealousy, grudge and ill will, enmity, all the evil forces are boiling in their mind. Where is religion? What is the purpose of religion? Religion is for us to train our mind to live peacefully, without harming, without disturbing, developing our what you call harmony, understanding, and without violating the environment for others to suffer. If these qualities are not in our religion, there's no point of following any religion. Now there are free thinkers. They never say they are Buddhists or Christians or Muslim or Hindus, no label. But do you think they behave as barbarians? If you observe very carefully, some of them are far better than those so-called religious people who claim they belong to this religion or that religion. By knowing certain things are bad, immoral, harmful, they try not to do. That is understanding. Not because of God, not because of punishment, not because of hell, knowing these things are wrong. Again, they do lot of services for the well-being of others, to release others' sufferings and troubles and problems and difficulties without expecting any reward from God. They have no heaven, no God, no hell, no rebirth, no karma, no soul, nothing. But they live as human beings. So they keep away from bad things, they do lot of good things without using any religious label. Why? Although they do not use any religious labels, they practice religious principles. Without them, we belong to this religion. Religious principles are there. Therefore, not necessary to say we are Buddhists. That word is not important. The Buddha was not a Buddhist. Jesus was not a Christian. We have given this label for them. We must try to be good, to do good as much as possible. Then we are very good religious people.
Isn't that true? What is the purpose of religion? What is the purpose of we studying the Buddha Dharma? What is the purpose of you coming here on Sunday or Saturday? So that you can be a better person than yesterday? So that your families can be happier? If you come and become a Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Muslim, Jew, whatever, and you end up with even more strife in your family, then something is seriously very wrong. Because the whole purpose is to help you adapt to life so that you can be a better person. As the late Venerable Dhammananda said, what you call yourself, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whatever, is actually immaterial. It's actually what we do. I shared with the youths yesterday that if someone outside in the bus stop in front of BF is to stop you, and usually it's a nice white man with a white shirt, with a nice black tie, and he might stop you and say, brother, who is your creator? And you must answer him very frankly, my creator are my parents. Because the Buddha was asked that question. The Buddha was asked, where is Brahma? And in the Brahmanistic belief 2,600 years ago, Brahma was the creator in the Brahmanistic belief. And the Buddha said, oh, you want to know where's Brahma? Go home, look at your father and your mother. That's Brahma. You can't fault the man, that's perfectly true, But if you were to go on a little bit deeper, then the man said, no, I'm talking about the spiritual aspect. I'm not talking about your physical parents. And they say, who is your creator? And you can tell him in all honesty, backed by 4 Nikayas, that my karma is my creator. You are created by your karma. You are the heir of your karma. You are what you are because of your karma. Because you went to school, you went to uni or college or whatever, you are working in whatever you are working today. Because you decided to marry this boy or this girl, and then you become a wife or a husband. And because you decided to have children, or you've got no more condoms because all the condoms are used to press the lift, and then you have children. So all is the result of what we intentionally do, our karma. Our karma creates the next step. Your decision to come here this morning is your karma. And if you walk out of this hall with your brain slightly tuned by me, that's the effect of that karma. Your creator is your karma. So if we live every day well, happy, harmless, at peace, then you have a happier life. And I think that's very important to realize that the whole reason for us to study the Dhamma is because the wealth of that Dhamma is going to give you a happier life. 2 weeks from now, on the 19th to be precise, I'm invited to an interfaith conference at Newcastle University where I'm supposed to speak on Buddhism. The other religious representatives will talk on their aspects. And the title is Life After Death. Serious, that's the title of the Interfaith Conference. When it comes to my turn to speak on the Faithful 19, I'm going to tell them that I think that your topic, your title is wrong. We should be talking about life before death. Why are we talking about life after death? In Buddhism, we are more interested in life before death. Who cares about life after death? All right? And I'm not the one who said it. You're familiar with the Kalama Sutta. You're familiar with what the Buddha taught. The Buddha said, do whatever good that is praised by the wise, that is not harmful to you, not harmful to others, etc. Do all of it, no matter big or small. And the Buddha said, if there is indeed a heaven that you believe in, then yes, you have some heavenly rewards. Okay? And if indeed you do not believe in any heaven or hell or whatever, he said it still makes no difference because you will still do well now. So whether the Buddha said there is a heaven or a hell is immaterial because by doing good, you are actually doing your best. Okay? So I'm going to tell them that if you were to ask me, Dr. Wong, you said, what happens to a man after he dies in the hospital? I'll tell you what will happen. They will give his bed to another patient. That is my Buddhist response. We live in the moment, we do our best in the moment, and if the person has died, we clear the bed, change the sheets, and give the bed to another person. That's it. That's the best answer I can tell you. Then someone in the audience will say, no, we want to know what will happen after you die. then I will quote the great Venerable Bodhidharma. He was asked that same question. Bodhidharma was so famous. Everybody say, oh, he's an enlightened monk. And so somebody actually asked Venerable Bodhidharma, what will happen after you die? And Bodhidharma's reply was classic. He said, I don't know. And the person said, how can you don't know? You're supposed to be an enlightened monk, blah, 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 blah. And his reply is, because I haven't died. Now, you can't fault all these Buddhists, they are telling you the precise, correct, provable, experiential answer at this moment. I think they won't invite me again for the interfaith conference. Because I think I'm going to smash all their ideas of what life after death is going to be like. Because they expect me to go there and threaten them with hellfires and rewards of heaven, I think that's the answer they expect. I'm not going to give that answer. I'm going to tell them you should live your life well now and don't worry about life after death. Because whenever you are mindful, whenever you are doing your best at this moment, your Buddha mode is switched on, like this mic. And when you are unmindful, when you are doing things based on conditioned response, based on greed, hatred, anger, desire, then of course, your Buddha mode is switched off. Okay? Now, then people might say, Buddhism is literally a DIY religion, everything you have to do yourself, no external help, no angel to protect me from COVID-19, is a DIY. Yes, I got no angel to protect me, but doctor here is giving me my hand sanitizer to protect me. And, if you really want to do something yourself, you have no choice because that is probably the best. Now let me find that. Yeah, found. Pebble. R. Have you heard of the 10 most powerful two-letter words? Then R, as usual, nope, doesn't ring a bell. And the wife said, if it is to be, it's up to me. And he said, yeah, that's very profound. I like it. Isn't that true? If it is to be, it is up to you. No one can do it for you. Only you can do it yourself. And I agree, these are the 10 most powerful two-letter words. If it is to be, it is up to me. Okay? Please remember that. That's very Buddhist. The Buddha said he's only the teacher who shows the way. If it is to be, it is up to you. Please remember.
बेटा मेरी छड़ी उठा दो जी माँ थैंक यू
Okay? Oh, Henry wants to take a picture of that. So it's not too bad. Do it yourself. Okay? If you can do it yourself, it's even better. And read this. My little brother just asked, why are some people so nice to the people who are about to die? Somebody is sick. Oh, we all go to the hospital. Chant Metta Sutta. Some chant Bojanga. Wow, send flowers, send fruits. And then we say, I told him that we want to make their last few moments on earth happy. And he told me, but everyone dies a little every day. And sometimes we don't know when a person is going to die. So why isn't everyone always nice? Because we never know what's going to happen to someone. Isn't that what Buddhism teaches? Anicca, impermanence. Life is uncertain, but death is certain. And all of us are slowly moving inexorably in that direction. So, well, let's be nice to each other. It's okay. You can be Muslim, Christian, Hindu. You can call yourself anything. When we die, nobody recognizes what you call yourself. Honestly. So we can all be very happy. All right? And Learn to be very grateful. This is an old card from Kong Ming San, at least 15 years old. I hope they still print this card. But it's a very, very good card. There's so many ways we can say thank you. Whenever I come to BF, of course, they feed me lunch, they feed me dinner, they feed me supper, they feed me coffee, they feed me tea, Today alone, I got 3 cups, how to finish all. But never mind, thank you. I will try my best. So, we are very grateful. People want to express this. So, we too similarly want to express our gratitude to all those who have helped us. And our fates are so interlinked that honestly, none of us will be here without the help of someone else. Now, when I retired, I told my wife, when I retired from private practice and just do academia, I told my wife that I think I want to buy a Harley Davidson. And then I'll ride the Harley Davidson from Johor Bahru all the way to Kanga in Perlis, then across the East-West Highway to Kota Baru, then all the way down the East Coast and come back to Johor Bahru. Of course, my wife said, "Chi sin." Now, I'm going to show you this video which I love. See, life can be happy if we want to make it happy. It only requires a switch in our thinking. Change the thinking process. I always tell my medical students, learn to think laterally. Don't just think like that. Remove the blinkers. See, even a blind man can ride a Harley Davidson. See? So, we have to realize that all it requires is a change in our perspective. And then we can ride a Harley Davidson. Don't think like a horse wearing blinkers. Learn to remove the blinkers. See a bigger picture. It just requires a change in attitude. And why do I want a Harley Davidson?
Got some Harley inside? Let it out at Harley Davidson of Scottsdale.
So this is the closest I got to a real Harley Davidson. That's in Australia. And so when I returned from Australia, my wife got me this Harley Davidson. It's a toy Harley Davidson on my table. So now I come to this. What is the heart of the Dhamma? What is the core message? What is the inner core of the Dhamma? That's the inner core of the Dhamma. If you can understand what's on the back of my t-shirt, next Sunday onwards you don't need to come to BF.
ทำความดีค่ะ
เป็นทางสายกลางหรือเปล่าครับ
ก็คือคำสอนของพระพุทธเจ้าทำให้เรามีสติมากขึ้น
ใช่ครับ
สมุทัยนิโรธมรรคค่ะ
ทำดี
การพ้นทุกข์ใช่ไหมครับ
ผมคิดว่าเป็นการปล่อยวางนะครับผม
So I think that if we are to repeat this exercise in Buddhist fellowship, it would be very useful if we just ask everyone, reflect on yourself. What is the core of the Dharma? What is the heart of Buddhism? Okay, what is at its very innermost core? And of course, I showed you my T-shirt.
ท่านสาธุชนผู้สนใจในธรรมทั้งหลายโอกาสของการบรรยายครั้งเดียวเป็นพิเศษเช่นนี้อาตมามีความเห็นว่าควรได้กล่าวถึงใจความทั้งหมดของพระพุทธศาสนาหลักพุทธศาสนาขั้นมูลฐานนั้นหมายความว่ามันเป็นหลักที่มีจุดมุ่งเฉพาะไปยังความดับทุกข์
The core principle is to end suffering. The core principle is to let go of your stress. The core principle is to make you less emo. Simply put, is to make you happier. All right?
ถ้าเป็นสิ่งที่ไม่เป็นไปเพื่อดับทุกข์พระพุทธเจ้าท่านทรงปฏิเสธไม่ยอมเกี่ยวข้องด้วยในสูตรที่มีอยู่ในสังยุตตนิกายเล่าเรื่องนี้ไว้ชัดว่าเมื่อกำลังเดินกันอยู่ในป่าพระพุทธเจ้าท่านกำใบไม้ที่เรี่ยราดอยู่ขึ้นมากำมือหนึ่งแล้วถามภิกษุทั้งหลายในที่นั้นว่า
ใบไม้ที่กำขึ้นมานี้กับใบไม้หมดทั้งป่ามันมากน้อยกว่ากันกี่มากน้อย
ทุกคนก็เห็นได้ว่ามันมากกว่ากันมากจนเปรียบกันไม่ไหว
If I were to ask you, how many things are there to learn in this world? Just like my medical students, I actually pity them. They come to me in year 3, year 4, year 5, and suddenly they are overwhelmed with a whole avalanche of things that pour onto them. That's when they start clinical years in the wards. And you know, when you go into the ward, suddenly it's like the whole world crumbles on you because all of a sudden you're supposed to know everything. It's not like in year 1 and year 2 where it's a structured learning thing. So the whole world collapses on them and, okay, you're supposed to know everything. So there's a huge amount of knowledge that they have to learn, to read, to acquire. It's the same thing in our life, isn't it? If I were to ask you, of course you don't have to be in the medical line, there is so much in the world we have to learn. How to run a computer, how to do this, how to run Excel, which up to today I can never do well, a million other things. It is impossible for us to learn all that. Neither is it necessary for us to learn about all the leaves that is in this huge forest, each leaf representing some aspect of knowledge. But there is a little bit of leaves that we all should learn. Because that little bit of leaves helps us to adapt to life in this forest. And that is the handful of leaves that the Buddha wanted us to learn. That's why very often you hear this quote, a handful of leaves. Because that is what the core thing that is important for us to learn. Because this helps you survive mentally, psychologically in a very stressful world.
พระพุทธเจ้าจึงบอกว่า
เรื่องที่ตรัสรู้และรู้นั้นมันมากเท่ากับใบไม้ทั้งป่าแต่เรื่องจำเป็นที่ควรรู้ควรนำมาสอน และนำมาปฏิบัตินั้น เท่ากับใบไม้กำมือเดียว
สิ่งที่เป็นหัวใจของพุทธศาสนานั้นอาตมาอยากจะแนะถึงประโยคสั้นๆที่มีกล่าวอยู่ว่าสิ่งทั้งปวงไม่ควรยึดมั่นถือมั่นว่าเป็นตัวเราหรือของเราคราวหนึ่งมีคนไปทูลถามพระพุทธเจ้าโดยทูลว่า
พระพุทธวจนะทั้งหมดที่ตรัสถ้าจะสรุปให้สั้นเพียงประโยคเดียวได้หรือไม่
พระพุทธเจ้าท่านว่าได้พระองค์ตรัสว่า
สัพเพธัมมานาลังอภินิเวสายะสิ่งทั้งปวงไม่ควรยึดมั่นถือมั่น
แล้วพระองค์ก็ย้ำลงไปอีกทีหนึ่งว่าถ้าใครได้ฟังความข้อนี้ก็คือได้ฟังทั้งหมดในพระพุทธศาสนาถ้าได้ปฏิบัติข้อนี้ก็คือได้ปฏิบัติทั้งหมดในพระพุทธศาสนาถ้าได้รับผลจากการปฏิบัติข้อนี้ก็คือได้รับผลทั้งหมดในพระพุทธศาสนาสิ่งใดมีความยึดถือหรือถูกยึดถือก็ตามว่าตัวกูว่าของกูแล้วสิ่งนั้นคือตัวทุกข์ในสิ่งใดไม่มีความยึดมั่นถือมั่นว่าตัวกูของกูแล้วสิ่งนั้นไม่มีทุกข์
ก็สรุปได้ว่าสิ่งทั้งปวงไม่ควรยึดมั่นถือมั่นว่าเป็นตัวเราหรือของเราครับ
Okay, so I hope you understand to some degree this very profound message. All things will come, yes, for a while, use it well, treasure it, but at one point, whether it's a material thing or an immaterial thing, we cannot process it. We can't even possess this body, let alone something external. And if we insist that it is I, my, mine, then you're going to suffer. If you insist, this is my daughter, this is my son, this is my way, this is my house, this is my whatever, this is my center, this is my lineage, then you're going to suffer. Because we can't possess it. And why can't we possess it? Because it is anicca, it is dukkha, and it is anatta. Trying to possess it goes against these fundamental denominators of life. You cannot possess something which is changing, unstable. You cannot possess it because it's going to alter. We can't possess even this body that is closest to us, let alone something external. And this is a very, very fundamental thing that the Buddha realized in his awakening. The Buddha even said that anybody who is wise and who thinks can understand anicca. Well, any physicist can tell you anicca, impermanence, entropy. Any physicist can tell you that. Any psychologist can tell you about dukkha. But I doubt any can tell you about anatta. because anatta is truly a very, very unique teaching of the Buddha. All right? So, remember...
Are you having the best day of your life? Good for you, but it will pass. Are you having a hangnail? That irritating small torn piece of skin on the side of your nail? Don't worry, it will pass. Having the hiccups? It will pass. Are you being forced to watch a chick flick or a reality TV show with your girlfriend? It will pass. Are you busted by your brother watching a chick flick on your own? It will pass. Do you want to watch a 20-second video and you have to watch a commercial for 45 seconds? It will pass. Is your girlfriend baking banana chocolate muffins with sprinkles on it for you? Sadly, it will pass as well. There is one unchangeable truth, and that is ironically that everything changes. Nothing will ever stay the same. When you are feeling lonely, it will pass. When you're having tremendous pleasure, it will pass. Everything we will ever experience is impermanent. What I personally think that this means is that when you're having a good time, enjoy it. And when you're having a bad time, remember that these things will pass as well. This will give you strength. Or in the example of you having to watch reality television, you can also, of course, throw the television out of the window. And when your girlfriend reacts angry about it, remember, it will pass. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great, awesome, inspiring day.
So remember, bad things also will pass, huh? Okay, last 2 days here, everybody is asking me about the Malaysian political situation. I say, don't worry, it will pass. Don't worry. Don't worry. Just do good things because, read. Okay? So just do whatever good that you can do. Avoid whatever no good. Purify your mind. The rest will take care of itself, so we do not have to worry. Okay? I'm going to show the last video. After this, I'm stopping. And I want to show this last video because I'm very good at making people cry.
这首歌是唱给你的。
Isn't that a beautiful song? Beautiful song. One of our ex-youths came back at a Metal Lodge dinner and sang this song for all of us. So it's a beautiful song. It's really a lesson on impermanence and that all things will pass, all things will change. Let's appreciate it, let's use it well, let's take good care of each other, let's love each other, let's do our best for each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wong. Shall we say sadhu 3 times? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dr. Wong, we have a pile of Q&A. Emptiness. Oh, that's not the questions. Do we have any questions for Dr. Wong? Oh, okay. Is that a question or is that a sticky tape or what? Oh, okay. Dr. Wong, how would you explain anatta? Thank you.
That's another talk, man. Okay, trying to understand anatta will require quite a bit of sharing, but I'll put it in a very brief way. 2,600 years ago, when the Buddha was alive, it was Brahmanism. Hinduism hasn't evolved to what we see today. And as part of the belief in the Brahmanistic system is the belief in an atta, a core, a being, a soul, a concrete essence inside everyone, which does not die, which cannot be destroyed, which will reincarnate with every birth, going from point A to point B to point C to point D, which can burn in hell and still not be destroyed, which can live 1,000 years in heaven and still doesn't grow old. So that was the belief in the Buddha's time 2,600 years ago, the concept of atta. Now, when the Buddha investigated, he found that there is no such atta in any one of us, that there is nothing concrete in this body and mind that we have. And as Ajahn Brahmali, who was here just a few weeks ago, would have shared, when they go into meditation and you go deeper and deeper into the jhanas, you see one by one your khandhas disappear, and even in the end, even the consciousness disappear. And you realize that there is really no core essence of any sort. So the Buddha came with the teaching that there is no such thing called an atta, which is unchanging in you. People would love an atta because we see impermanence. You don't want to die. You want to go to some eternal heaven. You want your enemy to burn in eternal hell. So people want that. So it's a concept that people want to have, that I can go and live forever in heaven, or that enemy or my ex-husband will rot in hell forever, etc. So that concept of a permanent essence or being or something within you, the Buddha said, is wrong. There is no such concrete thing. We are all the time changing, evolving to either higher states or lower states. And it became the teaching of anatta. You add the word A in front of atta, A-N-A-T-T-A. So Mahatma Gandhi, Maha Atma, great being, great soul. The two words combined. So here is anatta. There is no such concrete thing, no such concrete essence in you. You are always evolving. And you can evolve to be better, or you can evolve to be worse. But there is nothing in you which is unchanging, permanent essence. That's the shortest I can explain. Anything longer, we'll need another talk. Okay?
Thank you, Dr. Wong. Any other questions? Any other questions from the audience? Okay, so I